Scenes from the Court Square Diner, which first opened in 1946. John Taggart for the New York Times. Hugh Carragher was sitting at the counter of the Court Square Diner, where the tentacles of the 7G East and M lines converge in Long Island City, Queens. He has been coming to the diner twice daily for 55 years. He's 80 and retired. It was morning, so he was eating a bowl of Raisin Bran. "This is like another home for me," he said, adding that he walks from his apartment in Woodside, a couple of miles away. Steve Kanellos and Nick Kanellos, brothers who know many of their customers by name, took the diner over in 1991. They renovated the exterior, choosing its retro chrome and cranberry facade. John Taggart for the New York Times. There was no hurry to finish his breakfast. He let his cereal get as soggy as the rainy day. The Court Square Diner is home to a wide cross-section of customers, regulars like Mr. Carragher, tourists from neighboring hotels, visitors to MoMA PS1, people on jury duty and CUNY Law School, students and faculty. "I know everybody, and they all know me," said Gary Fitzgerald, a woodworker who has lived in the neighborhood for 7 years. A lifelong diner aficionado, he, too, has been a daily breakfast and dinner counter customer. "I haven't cooked a meal since October 1986, he said. This 56-year-old body is diner-built. The staff starts setting out his order before he sits down. "It's nice to know that there's still a place where the term regular coffee means something," he said. "In Queens, it's milk and 2 sugars." The diner, which dates to 1946, has had only 3 owners. Steve Kanellos and Nick Kanellos, brothers who know many of their customers by name, took it over in 1991. The diner is open 24 hours a day. John Taggart for the New York Times. A couple of years later, they renovated the exterior, choosing its retro chrome and cranberry facade. "There's no other place around here that's open 24 hours a day," Steve Kanellos said. "And there are not many places to buy groceries here, so people come in to ask to borrow a lemon or some garlic." Thomas Prenczak and his mother, Susan Vundell, tourists from Hungary, stopped in because the diner was near their Airbnb apartment. "We see these diners at home only in the movies," he said. Catalin Demakis, a longtime server at Court Square Diner, chats with the cooks in the kitchen. John Taggart for the New York Times. It was their last day in New York City, and they were sorry they hadn't discovered the Court Square sooner. A couple of booths over, Carolyn Ismach was thinking much the same thing. Ms. Ismach, 32, is a speech therapist who lives in Long Island City, only 2 subway stops away, but this was the first time she's been to the diner. "I've been wanting to try it because diners have the best food," she said as she finished her platter of eggs, bacon, home fries and toast. "He'll be back." While Mr. Carragher was paying his bill, $3.95 for the Raisin Bran and $2.50 for a glass of cranberry juice, another regular, Sam Yazdi, sat down next to him and ordered his standard breakfast: egg whites, bacon, French toast, orange juice and coffee. "This is like another home for me," one customer said. John Taggart for the New York Times. Mr. Yazdi is a 27-year-old graduate student in real estate finance at New York University who lives across the street. "I'm friends with everyone who works here," he said. "I even joined their weekly fantasy football league." For him, the diner, which seats 108, is a cozy place to get comfort food, which is ideal for a competitive bodybuilder like Mr. Yazdi, who consumes 4,000 calories a day, at least 1,000 of them at the diner. "I eat 5 meals, and I come here every morning," he said. "I'm also here once a week for the dinner specials. I like the leg of lamb." When Mr. Carragher returns later that evening, he might well run into Mr. Yazdi and Mr. Fitzgerald. And that may be the point. "We see these diners at home only in the movies," a tourist said. John Taggart for the New York Times. A version of this article appears in print on November 12, 2017, on page MB3 of the New York edition with the headline "Cozy, Crowded and Always Open."